Good morning, Minister. Indeed, last year you made two denunciations of plans related to the overthrowing of President Nicolás Maduro in August and in November. One of those plans were led by the U.S. military Wilbur Joseph Castañeda, and the other led by entrepreneur José Enrique Rincón. But there have been revealed other incidents besides this or attached to them. We don't know exactly, but I will refer to three of them. One in the Great Caracas that have requested asylum to five followers of Maria Corina Machado, and other events were occurred in Guárico, killing the Venezuelan citizens and so on December 23rd, in that same, there was an assault, an alleged assault against against the military installation. And so I would like to comment about the status of these three events that I have mentioned. Thank you very much. Well, one would answer, why is Martinez Motola getting out of the embassy? Why? I imagine that he will declare and will explain the reasons why he left the embassy. What did he leave? What he left? He lived there, and what he witnessed there. So it would be very interesting for him to say that in front of the audience for the country, if there's any doubt of his low humane quality of that opposition sector, listen and be updated about. And so indeed, there was an attack in December, and two comrades passed away, and they were isolated, but not from the national context. So it was public, communicational, and remarkable, and said for themselves that the criminal groups in Venezuela have an agreement with this fascist sector. They said that they supported this fascist sector of Venezuela. They said it during elections, in tape recordings of the Tren de Aragua group, and in which they expressed their support to that sector, and they menaced the national government. And we said it in 2025. We said in the 2024, and that 2025 was the year of consolidation of peace in Venezuela, with the fighting against these opposition sector, fascist sectors. And so all institutions are just working actively, and that attachment is very dangerous for the country. The attachment of criminal groups with opposition sectors, with fascist sectors, because that far-right opposition wing, so it represents the end of values, the end of principles. That far-right opposition doesn't regard about anything, just they regard about assaulting power. And so what they offered to criminals, routes of drug trafficking. Remember that Juan Guaidó offered Iván Duque a route for the Guajira in Venezuela, just free for drug dealing. what they offer to these criminals, pardon their crimes. Those criminals go go freely with their families. That's not going to happen. It's a union of criminals. Political criminals, fascist criminals with extortioners. And so we are just working in almost. Usually we work in silence and we act. We haven't spoke. Well, lately I just mentioned the seizure of those munitions. And when we denounced that, they said there were lies. Until Interpol said they have the same information, but we have the fact of having seized the munitions, and we didn't let them go from the United States and we acted here in Venezuela. And so it is very shameful, the attack to the alleged fortress, and people who live nearby said there were lies, and the mercenaries told it was true, and it was just false and lies. Well, give me another question. Gamelotro wasn't there, and so that's just fantasy to convince the audience, to convince the people. And so that's the signal that it came. The start of Belén is a signal. I have a signal, but I didn't disseminate it, and they have nothing. They are just deceiving the people, making them believe that on January 9th, January 10th, it will happen anything, and it wasn't going to happen anything, because we will guarantee peace, and President Nicolás Maduro will take office, and everything who interferes in that will receive the punishment, a resounding punishment. And there's no attack whatsoever. Just Venezuela is at peace, and so the military are just at their holidays, and the police officers too. They are just some of them are at their holidays, and so they try to attach one thing with another. And they said that there are isolated acts, and they are just attached to the criminal groups are attached to the opposition far right. They are attached to the munitions and to the assassination of Tenant Ojeda in retaliation. So they are just involved in this. And we have received threats on December 16th, and we just arrived in January, and we are at peace. So they said we won't let them sleep, and they are the ones who are not sleeping. They are the ones who are not sleeping, and on January 10th there's going to be an activity here, a swearing ceremony. President Maduro will be taking office along with the people, and who's gonna blame for it? Maria Corina Machado, who's gonna blame? Edmundo Gonzalez, what are you going to say when? So come. I wish he had a gesture of bravery and come here in Venezuela. I don't know any criminal who have left and then have come back. You know why? Because they just go and enjoy their money. outside, because they try to sell the country and they charge for it. And do you think that the Leopoldo Lopez, who's gonna leave their amenities in Spain, in Salamanca, to come here, or Ledesma, they will come here to Venezuela? No, they won't come. From here, the country must remember when they were detained and they received, they were sick, and then the family came and said they will let them die, but they are just very comfortable there at Spain, overseas. And Leopoldo said, I earn my living from being a professor at the university, so that's just a cover, and he's very comfy. And for them, politics is a business. It's a way of making money. And thank you very much.